Well, what's up, guys? It's the Bayou Bengal, and today I want to talk about all the things that I think are wrong with Infinite Warfare. Now, I know I said in a previous video that I enjoyed this game, and I do to an extent, but that doesn't excuse all the bullshit that's wrong with this game. This is going to be more of a rant, so to speak, about this game, and after playing through the first 55 levels, I think it deserves one. This is going to be a longer video because I have a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. If you guys do enjoy and agree with some of the things that I'm going to talk about in this video, please like and share it, and help us little guys out a little bit. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. So the first thing that I think that needs to be fixed immediately in Infinite Warfare is the spawns. Now, the spawns in Domination flip like a fucking fish out of water. I mean, 10 points in and I'm already getting shot in the back at some point. I mean, it seems like there's no spawn algorithm in Domination whatsoever, and I really don't even want to play Domination anymore, so most of the gameplay that you're going to be seeing from this point out is probably going to be around like Defender type game modes. I think actually Defender is probably one of my favorite game modes now. It's a lot of fun. But the next thing that I want to talk about is the connection. Now, I don't know if you guys are experiencing the same thing, but the connection feels like I'm always a second behind everybody that I'm shooting, like whenever I get in a gunfight. And I've had times where I get the first shot on somebody and get like 6 or 7 hit markers and then die, only to find out in the kill cam that the enemy saw me, had enough time to aim down his sights and shoot before I could even see him on my screen. And the 6 or 7 hit markers that I got, they didn't count because I was already dead on his screen. And I mean, as a positive to that, there doesn't seem to be any more frame rate issues, but I feel like I lose almost every gunfight I get into because I'm behind the enemies connection wise. The next thing that I want to talk about are the kill streaks. Now, most of the kill streaks in this game are complete ass. Let's be honest. The Warden is the best one, and even that sometimes isn't too great. The Vulture is garbage. UAV and Advanced UAV is basically useless because half the enemy team uses Ghost, so there's no point in running UAV or Advanced UAV. And then for the high streaks, I feel like they aren't even worth the points that you have to get in order to use them. I mean, overall, I think the streaks definitely need to be buffed. And I've been saying this ever since Black Ops 3 and Ghost and Advanced Warfare. They need to make the streaks like they were in Black Ops 2. Those were the best streaks in my opinion. The fourth thing that I think is wrong with Infinite Warfare is Ghost. And now, Ghost, in my opinion, is the most overpowered perk in the game. As far as I know, there's not anything that counters it. Like I said, that's as far as I know. There may be, but I've played through 55 levels and I haven't seen anything that could counter it. I could be on like a 5 kill streak and then die by somebody sitting in a corner that doesn't even appear on my minimap because he's got Ghost on. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is a huge step back, and I feel like it's the new crutch perk of the game pretty much, kind of like how Toughness was in Black Ops 2, and it definitely needs to be nerfed to the way it was in Black Ops 3. You know, you have to be moving if you want to stay off the radar. Don't let these campers win. The next thing that I want to talk about is the maps. Now, in my opinion, there's just a terrible map design in this game. I mean, besides a few maps, the best ones were the ones that were in the beta. I like Genesis, and I like Breakout to an extent. It just feels like the 3-lane maps in this game have about 20 different ways to get to them. And if you guys are confused, I'll use an example. I'll use 2 examples actually. On the map Breakout, if you know the middle of it, where it's like the middle and then the right side, where it's that room, there's 4 different entryways to that room. So there's 2 different ways to get there from the middle of the map, and then there's 2 different doorways to get there from the right side of the map. And so that leaves 4 different areas that you possibly have to look out for when you're walking into that room. You know, you can walk through one entrance and an enemy can be in the other 3. Or if you're sitting there spawn trapping, holding down a spot, there's 3 or 4 other places that you have to watch, and it makes it impossible to defend, in Domination at least. And then when everybody uses perks like Ghost and flanks all the time in this game, you really never know where anybody's going to come from. And like I said, on Skydock 2, and right in the middle above B-Dom, there's that little room where you can come from the right side, you can come from C-Dom, A-Dom, and then you can come from B. There's 4 different ways to get in that room, so that's a spot on the map that I like to avoid, because I pretty much always die in that part, so I'd never really go there anymore. What else? Reactive armor's terrible. They can you guys believe they fucked up the kinetic armor from Black Ops 3? So it pretty much it runs out way faster than the Black Ops 3 armor, and they made it to where it feels like you're taking damage when you have it activated, and your shot jumps all over the fucking place. Like, seriously, the first time I used it, I stopped shooting, and I was like, wait, am I even using this the right way? Is it activated? And then I ended up dying because it was activated, but it felt like I was taking damage even though I really wasn't. That's the stupidest shit ever. Like, I mean, why did they add damage to the reactive armor? It makes no sense. It should be protecting you from damage, and even though it does, it feels like you're taking damage and your shot is thrown all over the place. At least in my opinion it is. This is one that's just a personal thing for me. It feels like aim assist sucks at sometimes in this game, and it feels like it just shuts off. Like, sometimes I feel like it helps me out a lot in some gunfights, and then other times it just pushes my aim away from the target on like stupid easy kills. And that might be because I'm at long range sometimes, and other times I'm at close range. I don't know. But these are like shots that I never miss, and it feels like the game is intentionally making me miss. But like I said, that's just a personal thing. I might just suck. I don't know. But I didn't really feel this. I kind of did feel this way in Black Ops 3 a few times, but it definitely wasn't as bad in Black Ops 3. But well, I mean, you can let me know what you guys think in the comments, if I'm right, if I'm wrong, if you're experiencing the same thing. Anyways, moving on. Fucking domination points only. I'm reading off a list right now. I wrote down a lot of stuff. Domination points are only 75 per kill, and then 150 per enemy cap or beat on base cap. And my question is to the developers is, why would you ever fuck with the points in domination? For as long as I can remember, domination has been 100 per kill, and then 200 per enemy base cap, and then 200 for a capture kill. It's only 150 still, or 125 or something like that. For a capture kill it should be 200, and then for a capture it should be 200. I mean, I remember in one domination game, I got like, right off the start I got like 13 kills and then 2 captures. I captured the home flag and the B flag, and then I died, and I was like, oh well, it's alright, I got my warden, I got the last streak. And then I ended up not even having it when I saw it in the next life, and I was like, I ended up being like fucking 50 points off because I only get 75 points a kill in domination. I mean, it pretty much makes you run hardline in domination, and that's not a perk that at least until I get scavenger, it's not a perk that I want to run in domination, or that I feel like I have to run in order to get my streaks and get the right amount of points. Moving on to the next topic, you can, I don't know if you guys know this or if you tried it, but you can just straight up back out of games and your stats won't count. So you don't really have to quit out the game, or dashboarding as they used to call it. You can just straight up leave the game and your stats will not count. And I've tried this a few times in Infinite Warfare, and it actually worked. I checked my little previous 5 games, the score per minute and the KD, went into a game, played it a little bit, backed out, and it didn't have the last game that I just backed out of recorded. And this is a bigger problem than people realize, and when people realize it, there are going to be so many rage quitters because people actually care about their stats in this game still. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say, or if I said that I didn't care about my stats, but I mean, I don't care about it that much. I'd rather enjoy the game and play it out to the end instead of rage quitting. So it's basically like if I'm in a lobby going off, getting streaks and destroying, people on the enemy team can just back out and there's no penalty. And this is going to lead to unbalanced lobbies where the enemy team will have 2 players to our 6, and this works both ways. Like if we're getting destroyed, you know, I'm usually a player that likes to stay in the game and play it out to the end, even though if I'm losing or getting my ass kicked, I like to play it out to the end. And then to have people on my team leave before the game's over and have it, you know, 6v2, I'm obviously going to back out of that. Like, I'm not going to play when I have one other teammate and they have 6 just destroying us. There's no point. We're not going to win. So I'm just going to back out anyway. And this actually leads into my next point that I want to make is the uneven teams and lobbies that don't repopulate after people leave. So I can't tell you guys how many times I join a lobby before the game starts, and there'll be like maybe 10 people in the lobby, and then the game will start and it'll show in the pre-game little screen before the match starts, it's fucking 4-on-6, and then like it's not 5-on-5, it's fucking 4-on-6, and nobody will join the lobby for whatever reason. So we're stuck with trying to do our best with 4 people against the enemy 6, and it's the same when people leave games. And this has been a problem forever in Call of Duty. I mean, at this point, I would honestly be fine with bots replacing teammates that leave, or enemies that leave, because they can't get it right after 10 fucking years of having this problem. I mean, I would be fine with bots being like, they should have the bots at 75 points a kill, and then killing a real player is 100. That's how the point should be. It should be 25 less or like 50 less for killing a bot, and then the right amount of points for killing an actual player. Just a few miscellaneous things that I also wrote down that I didn't really want to go too much into because it's not really gonna be fixed. There's not really a problem with them. The Scarab is just annoying. It's a little RC car. It's just really annoying. I've been on like 5 or 6 kill streaks, ran into one of these things and died immediately. It takes no skill to use. It's just a stupid kill streak. I hated the RC car in Black Ops 1, and I've hated it ever since. Supply drops and salvage. I feel like salvage will eventually get fixed in the future, but for now we kind of have to deal with the rate that we get the crypto keys and the rate that we can open supply drops. Sniping still sucks. I'm always gonna hate sniping no matter how much they nerf it. It feels like they didn't even nerf it, honestly. But yeah, I've gotten quick scoped after putting a few shots into some guys, and that honestly, that goes back to the connection thing. It might just be my connection, you know, I'm getting fake hit markers on him and he's sniping, so I feel like sniping's not as bad in this game as it was, you know, in previous Call of Duties. But anyway, that's all that I wrote down. That's all that I've experienced personally. If you guys have experienced anything else or want to add anything to it, please let me know in the comments what you guys think. And that's gonna do it from me. Go Tigers.